You're coming too.
From Washington State to now sunny California, we've been at it for 5 years. It began with selling our previous boat and taking that money to buy tools and build a shed. We assembled keel pieces, poured the ballast, and raised all 16 frames in the first 6 months.
There's a boat in there.
Now, half a decade later, and at a slower but steady pace, we're in the water. We're Salt and Tar, and this is our life. Like, subscribe, and support if you can.
The boat is such a mess, but it is a beautiful sunrise.
So we've got our next 2 faucets. So where are we gonna put them?
Yeah, trying to decide if we want to put both of them back here or do one there and one there.
I think I kind of like them in the back, but as far as getting to the cubby back there, or whatever shelving we put in,
Yeah, that'll
affect it. But these are really cool because they bend every which way.
We're adding 2 more faucets,
Fancy.
one for fresh and one for salt.
Am I in the middle-ish?
more or less.
Middle-ish?
Yeah.
The faucet that's already there is our filtered drinking water tap. Having a saltwater tap will help us conserve our fresh water when doing dishes. We decided not to go with a foot pump and chose a pressure water system, since we'll have a water maker on board and don't need to be overly concerned about conserving water, although we do anyway, just out of habit.
I think that looks pretty dang good.
I think so. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice for doing dishes.
Continuing with Galley projects, we work on a very simple way of storing goods. Instead of intricate cabinetry, which we don't have patience or energy to build right now, we're putting in a small wood lip, and we'll add netting when we go to sea to keep things in their place.
I think that looks really good, Garrett. I like the little bend in it.
You gotta keep it classy, even when you get to a point where you're so fed up and you have so little effort and energy and you just don't care. At least you can throw like a little something in it to just make it look a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
We're using a piece of southern yellow pine a neighbor up the road was getting rid of. It's just a little something to make the galley more complete. We may very well change it before we set sail, but for now, I'm very happy to have something there to help us look more organized.
Spray her on in.
This reclaim piece will still get wood plugged and oiled before it's complete.
Listen, everybody, listen. Garrett just asked me to get port number 4.
The last ports are finally in. Something else I've been wanting to get to is sanding the watermarks on the cabin beams, and the epoxy putty filling the screw heads so I can keep painting. Only problem is, we live here, and sawdust gets everywhere. But when my parents left town and asked us to house sit, this was the perfect opportunity.
So yesterday we got all of the sanding done. Kind of refining all of the bung holes, and then also...
You said bung holes.
And then we gained our maturity back. And we got rid of like where the ends when we redid the cabin, the whole cabin, the cabin walls and everything came off. And during that time, the dew just kind of wicked up a little bit. So it didn't harm anything, it just made a little bit of a water stain. So now we're ready to stain, and I'm semi-nervous because I'm going pretty dark. This is Jacobine.
And she knows since I gave her the interior, everything is her choice. I have no say in it, which means if she screws it up, it's all her fault.
It's all my fault. So everything rests on my shoulder. He's been happy with everything so far.
Yeah.
Which sometimes isn't an easy thing to do.
What are you talking about? I'm super easy.
So I also got red mahogany, and this is the Jacobine. So
You're a Jacobine.
the Jacobine's pretty dark, but I think I'm gonna be really happy. So it's going on the Port Orford uprights and the Western Red Cedar cabin beams. And Garrett's helping me tape, but I much prefer cutting in. So we'll see, because really don't want to get any stain on the Port Orford ceiling. We want to leave that bright because it's really pretty, and I think the contrast would be awesome. So here we go. I'm gonna start in the head because that's less likely to be seen.
What do you think about the color?
Really dark. I don't know yet. Like real dark. Well, I may be changing my mind about the whole stain thing.
Wow, it's hot here.
Yeah, and today's probably not the best day because my thinking is a bit slow. It's supposed to be 90, 98, is that what I said this morning?
97.
97 today. Tomorrow it's only supposed to be 85, so this might be a day off day.
Yep, I agree. We gave it the old college try. Let's get out of here.
My parents are out of town this week visiting my brother up in Boise, so we have a house. It might be chill at the house, make some grub, and make a plan for the rest of the week. We moved out all of our stuff from in here. We took out our bed, we took out all the little cushions we had here, all of our Galley stuff, so that we could sand everything, which we did yesterday, and hopefully get some bigger projects that are a lot more annoying when we're living on board. So we've sort of moved out for, I think they're gone for like 6 days. So we accomplished the moving of everything and the sanding of everything thus far. Need a better game plan.
We need more energy and more motivation. And
I was really motivated to do this stain, but it's my first time working with it. Now I'm like, I don't know. When we have more patience.
whatever that may be.
It's hard not to feel burnt out after so many years working on this massive project. Going to paint all of the backs of the hull planking and the frames. They've already had one coat, but the green preservative that we used is coming through quite a lot. We'll probably end up paneling, or we'll put in some shelving and stuff here later, but I'm tired of looking at it all unkept, and while we're not staying on board, makes it perfect time to paint all of that. We're realizing how important it is to balance work and personal time. So when we come out on the other side of this, our sanity is still intact. We're both tired, but stubborn, persistent, and fully committed to seeing this through to the end. We wouldn't be completely honest if we didn't tell you it gets hard sometimes. So full one of these, did the countertop, and I'm gonna do the whole cabin sole. Before we can talk about how we're going to finish the cabin sole, we have to seal the plywood subfloor.
Alright, removing the floorboards.
While we still have some place to stay off the boat, I can epoxy. I'm removing the floorboards to do them separately.
All 6 of our floorboards out, and the bilge looks just great. So I'll re-vacuum before I epoxy. Gloves. Missed a spot. The floor is nice and sticky. So I'm just beginning the video in here. And Swabby is laying in front of the fan. I've got to work on the video, so I haven't gotten to doing the hatches. But the epoxy turned out really great on the floor, the cabin sole. We've pretty much moved back onto the boat. Garrett's got to choose a solo project since I'm hung up with the video. So he is figuring out where the extra holes are going to be for the chain plates. And once we have those holes, Garrett's going to throw some extra welds where like the top tube piece kind of goes in, where the lower deadeye attaches to, just to make it extra secure. And then we'll kind of grind it down, get all that surface rust off, and then I'll prime it with like an epoxy paint primer and then paint it. And then once we get those on, we can figure out the lanyards for the deadeyes, and then our 4 shrouds will be completely done.
Yo.
Hey, hey!
Gotta get all the dead eyes off.
Yeah.
So you're gonna do 3 bolts or 4? Have you decided?
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And you marked where they go?
Yep. Definitely waited a lot longer than I should have. Just left this stuff out in the sun.
Kind of fusing together now?
Yeah, and then sun and the water, and I don't know, just how things go these days. It's hard to be too concerned about things anymore when you just are really running out of care and motivation. Nice, we finally have a non-windy day.
Yeah.
I'll drill all the holes here, and then I'll mount the chain plates back in place because I've got the lines where they want to be. And so I'll bolt them through the top, and when they're all in place, then I'll just drill through using the holes that are already in the chain plates.
You gonna head to the bunker?
Yeah, I just took off all the chain plates and finished drilling them, so they're all cut a little bit long, so just gonna take the grinder, lop the ends off of them.
Nice.
And then I'll just probably round the ends a little bit, just so
So
they,
it looks nice and finished?
yeah. And then once I do that, I'm going to wire wheel the welds, get all the rust off of them. And then I think I'm gonna break out my welder.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So, my first time breaking out the new welder, and I'm pretty stoked. It's a little stick welder, and I've only stick welded one time in my life, and you know, it's definitely a little bit trickier than the MIG welder that we've been doing with Rolf. I've been messing around with it, and I think I'm really getting the hang of it. It's just this tiny little thing. I wanted to get one that I could run off the generator on the boat, so I could do onboard running repairs and stuff. So I'm getting to dial it in, and so far, I mean, that's where I started. It's not that great. Just kind of getting the hang of what amps to set it at and what sticks to use and everything. But that was my most recent weld. Kind of hard to see, but they're getting cleaner. Pretty stoked with this little thing. It's a lot of fun, and I think I like stick welding better than MIG welding. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep messing around with it until I feel like I've got the hang of it enough to lay a few more welds on the chain plates. I think I'm ready to do some welding on the chain plates. By the way, these are both fiberglass welding blankets, so they're meant for welding and sparks. Alright, well I think I've officially welded the shit out of this. So, it was pretty good.
Bob's keeping me company. I'm still posted up here while Garrett is drilling more holes into the boat. Starboard side holes are drilled. There's the forward one.
Oh.
Chain plates are done. Ready to
Well, the
paint?
holes are drilled.
Oh yeah, not done. Nothing's ever done.
Yeah.
Okay, get it out of your system. Say it.
It's not like I've done this stuff before, so, I mean, my suggestions are, you know, not worth much.
He really wants to say I told you so.